Hello everyone, it's VenomousStare back with another Venomous Classic, a classic IdrA game, and this game is actually going to be IdrA vs Maka, and this is going to be another exploration in me taking a look back at Zerg in 2010 and early 2011, and specifically IdrA, and how easy it was to lose, and this is something that is supposed to contextualize and sort of raise the level and bring up all of the accomplishments that IdrA was able to achieve in the early days of StarCraft when Zerg was very bad. And the last couple Venomous Classic series, I've casted IdrA vs Mask and IdrA vs Silver. We took a look at a player who won multiple tournaments in StarCraft 2, premier major tournaments, IPL, NASL, MLG, IdrA, and we compared him against Terran players who were not very talented, but were using imbalances to their advantage to win the game. And history proved that IdrA was right about their longevity as players and their ability as players. And here we have the Korean version of a player like Silver or Mask. When you look at a player like Silver or a player like Mask, any success they had in the early days of StarCraft 2 was reliance on map imbalance. It was reliance on Terran imbalance. It was reliance on people not understanding how to play. It was reliance on people not understanding the timings and the scouting and the different things the races could do. When the game first came out, it was like the wild, wild west. It was unpredictable. It was hard to figure out what was going on, what was standard, what was balanced, what was the way to beat certain things. If a build was very popular, people didn't necessarily wait for a balance patch to come out to fix it, because there were so many undiscovered things in the game. People would actually try to figure out how to beat it. So we are sitting here in a situation where the Terran player who is spawned in close positions, which was just laughably imbalanced in favor of Terran, is making an aggressive bunker onto the high ground of IdrA, and IdrA is trying to defend. Another bunker is going to go down here. The first one, of course, will make excellent high ground vision and is probably the main reason that it was up. Now, if that bunker goes down, obviously it's within vision of the mineral line and is pretty much like a game ender if it festers. But if that bunker sort of stalls and doesn't necessarily get up, you can still hide shit in the bottom bunker and use the high ground bunker to do this, to spot on the high ground for vision. So that's why that bunker is so good. So Maka Prime is the Terran player against IdrA, and a couple things are worth noting. A, Maka Prime has opted to get the Nitro Packs upgrade, which was like a Reaper buff upgrade from the tech lab of the barracks, and eventually this upgrade would be considered so imbalanced that it was removed from the game. Now, Maka Prime was a very cheesy, aggressive Terran player, and to me was sort of like the poster boy of these aggressive Terrans early on in StarCraft 2's life, who really got a lot of mileage in the early GSLs but disappeared quickly after. Players like Hyperdub and Ensnare really come to mind when it comes to players like this. So like I said, bunker used for high ground, obviously because the Reapers can jump up and down off a cliff, high ground vision is ludicrously important. Now I remember the Queen only had a laughable 3 anti-ground range during this time, so it was pretty much a worthless defensive unit. You had to be French kissing anything to attack it. It wasn't like it is now with Zerg, where you can build a bunch of Queens versus aggressive early game stuff and it really be helpful. You can see here the Queen sitting on top of the fucking ledge. The one on the right can't even attack the bunker. It's like spurging out and spinning around. That just shows you how little 3 range is, and it also shows you how fucking bad the Roach was for Zerg, which also had 3 range at this time. And notice that the low ground for Zerg isn't, there's like no neutral depot or rocks there, so the Terran could have double bunker blocked IdrA in if he wanted to, but on this specific map, obviously he wanted to go for like the behind the mineral line double bunker play where he could sort of siege them up, which would be even more lethal. And here the first queen has died. We can see the second queen die, and IdrA types out with cheater, which is just fucking hilarious to me, because you take like a hyper competitive game like StarCraft 2, and like early on in the game's life it's so fucked up and stupid that like it's a borderline legitimate thing to type out. Look at that right queen. Like, it's a borderline legitimate thing to type out with cheater. I mean, like, you do a build like this where you can build a bunker on someone's high ground at no risk, because remember, salvage at this time refunds 100% of what it costs. So you can do aggressive bunker plays like this against the 3-range queen, never actually do anything that's worth a damn, and just the units that you force will put you just insanely far ahead. And that's what we see now, is like they're in a game on close positions, which is already nearly unwinnable for Zerg. IdrA can't even get his fucking natural. The Terran player already has multiple racks in stim. IdrA has no tech at all. He's lost both of his queens. And this was just a perfect lesson in positional imbalance and early TVZ imbalance. Make sure you subscribe for more.